And welcome back to the Static Crypto Show. I'm your host, Blue Hawk Legend, and today we're going to be talking about an interview I decoded with Adam Back. He was the original contributors to Bitcoin, okay? This interview was about a year ago. I believe it came from Coin Telegraph, so I think it was like a quarter of the interview, but it wasn't the whole thing, okay? And it was very interesting because what he said in here, it seemed like he was nervous. He was holding back information. He very well could be Satoshi. And the reason I say that is because in here, I found something in the backwards audio where he said, he's on to me, let's go. And you guys will see that here in a second. He also kept saying, stay calm, milk it, stay calm. He must have said both of those words, milk it probably about 8 times and stay calm probably about 20. So it's very interesting that these words are popping up again. And how I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to play the audios forwards. Then I'm going to actually put the backwards word in there that I found, exactly where I found it. Then I'm going to play the entire backwards audio so you guys heard it. And it's like, yeah, I'm not making this up. But for those of you that are new, backmasking, reverse speech is that exactly. Just playing audios, videos backwards to reveal hidden messages. You can do what I do. What I do is I downloaded the Wave Editor app or any backwards audio app and the Denoise app to get rid of the background clutter. It's that simple. So, you guys can do this yourself. See, I'm not lying, but it's pretty amazing. Now, the reason I'm doing this, because I told you guys to take a snapshot before and listen to the forwards audio, but I'm going to do it for you so you'll see what I'm talking about. So you're going to see that thoughts actually kind of match up. It's about 9 times out of 10 again. So, every so often you get one that doesn't kind of match, but regardless, it's in there. It doesn't make it any less true, okay? And again, this does come from the subconscious, and it just revolves around what that person's career is, the people in their life, you know, etc., etc. So that's why these things pop up, and it is there. If you guys have been watching from day one, you've seen all the videos. It's just amazing. So yeah, you know what? I'm not going to spoil anything. So, without any further ado, let's get right to it.
Because people are fascinated about who Satoshi might be, I think it's important for people who, you know, are involved in Bitcoin and understand the Bitcoin mission to talk to them, because they will talk to somebody and, you know, there's an incentive for people who want to kind of imitate that, to start a kind of pyramid scheme almost, right, where they will take some investor money, do some marketing, and sell the coins. And so, you know, that's one of the dramas that, you know, each of these kind of foundations, and they're almost like startups or companies, really. They have CEOs, they have a marketing department, etc. But they, you know, they're massively dumping coins on their early investors, and then people get disillusioned. And there was a period where there were 10,000 altcoins and then 20,000. But apparently, you know, I wasn't tracking, but apparently having a value, retaining value over the long term. And of course, Bitcoin is volatile because it's undergoing an adoption phase. You know, eventually it should get fully adopted to the point where, you know, everybody who wants an allocation has got the allocation they want, and then you get some kind of probably lower volatility, people are thinking. But Norway Shekalites and Shekalinas Norway here over anyhow, no, but there's was the love a Stush il Schneveni, CF, Spot and Aganas is a good boss loves in look up so personal real life minister real life about.
And welcome back. So, we are going to go over these words as we usually do. I'm going to put them up here on the screen, but how I did this, it got the order got messed up. Not the words got messed up, but the order. So these little 1 to 2 minute sections of the audios, I put one and I kind of mixed them up a little bit, but the words are in order. Where they are is exactly where they are. So just FYI, but the words I'm going to put up here on screen is how I originally found them, okay? So if you guys want to read that, remember, we got to look at both aspects. So we got to read it from back to forwards, and then we got to look at the forwards part, like the video I'm showing you guys now, where the words are exactly. So very interesting again. But first off, and this is right off the bat, he says Elon Musk is close to it. When he was talking about Satoshi Nakamoto and how people are fascinated by it, it just blows me away. I mean, the fact that we found that right off the bat, and guys, you got to think about how important this is, okay? Think about how mind-blowing this is. The fact that we found Elon Musk is close to it in a backwards audio right when he was talking about people are fascinated about finding out who Satoshi is. Boom. This is massive. And again, you guys, very few people know about this still. So we have a major advantage above everybody else. And again, we can go back to the proof of this, what works, what doesn't work. Just look. Again, if you go to the Y-Files reverse speech video on YouTube, you'll see all the proof you need. Now, again, there are some things in there that kind of pop up that are strange in these backwards audio, and it's the same here, as you can see. They are a little strange. But it's 1 or 2 words on each one. It's not like every word is if this didn't work, again, I'll go back to what these government agency, what they did, I won't say which one, but they released it in 2016, the report on David Oates, admitting that, yeah, we've been keeping watch on David Oates. We have a report on him. Here's the report. We've been keeping track of him, his books. They don't attack people for no fucking reason. And he started this, I believe back in the 70s or 80s. So that's proof enough right there. I don't know what else. You guys know as well as I do that if these people, our own agencies, like, attack people like that, they want them to shut the fuck up. So they either attack the shit out of them, discredit them, or kill them. And they came pretty goddamn close to it. So this guy's he's basically a fucking legend. I mean, again, all the proof that I've shown you, that he's shown you, that the Wi-Fi has shown you, it's right there. So you don't have to watch this if you don't want to. But again, we have information here that nobody else has. We're cutting straight through to the bullshit. Sorry, to the bullshit. Through the bullshit. So, next he talks about the crypto projects, the rug pulls, how they have marketing teams, CEOs, and then they pull out a rug pull. So, right after that, he says, he'll make money, Brito. You guys heard that clear. That's why I did that 3 times back to back. He'll make money, and right at the end he says, Brito, real fast, Brito, Brito, Brito. Does that mean XRP or Ripple, or does that mean some other asset that we don't know that Brito is in? You got to remember, this guy is very, very quiet. He hasn't a picture out there, no interviews, his voice, nothing is out there about Brito. So I'm kind of curious what else he is involved to. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he had a hand in PolySign. I don't think it was linked to. I think it was PolySign. So I don't know, but it's very interesting, and just keep our eyes open. This is why we invest in other assets also to diverse, because you never know. It's not over till it's over. But it is fast, and again, I tried to slow down parts of it. And again, it got messed up, but I just left it on normal speed. And you'll see here soon that it did go a little fast, parts here and there, but I slowed down the best I could, so... in the last part of it, he talks about Bitcoin being volatile because it's being adopted. That doesn't make sense. Okay? If an asset is getting adopted, alright, and actually used, price will go up if not stabilized. Now, yeah, it has gone up, but it went up all the way. We're talking like, I mean, Christ, 3 years ago, $40,000 all the way to $120,000, then back down to like $75,000 roughly. It's pretty amazing that you would think if they were using it, not just buying Bitcoin, but using Bitcoin, that is something that's being adopted. Just like any of these other utility tokens, Bitcoin will be adopted. That is adoption. I don't understand. There's no partners. It's slow as shit. You can't do anything with it. It's too expensive to run. Well, that's Bitcoin miners. Yeah, for them to mine Bitcoin, it's going to cost money to get more Bitcoin. And you're thinking, well, if the miners shut down, then look, if the miners shut down, yeah, there's going to be less Bitcoin, but somebody's always going to mine Bitcoin. And it not having a use case, and people saying, well, a store of value is that other people are buying it. That's not a store of value. That's just idiots buying shit because they think it's worth something. Something is worth something if it's of value because it's being used. But in this case, that's not true because we have 20,000 other blockchains that do everything that Bitcoin can't. It's right there. But we have all these ETFs in Wall Street coming in too, which they're buying like crazy. But again, it may temporarily go up. But we have a lot of other blockchains out there that do way more. So I don't know, it's just repeating myself, but again, slow and efficient, nobody's using it. El Salvador, no, I think they actually took back their little partnership deal. But right after that, it'll be so slow, it'll be a little more mistake, know when to shake the lime. He offered money, milk it, lie. I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, it seems like when he's saying milk it in a few of these instances, it more than likely means he's trying to milk the interview or milk the interviewer and dragging him along a little more and talking about things that don't really it's just bullshit. That interviewer was there to ask questions about Satoshi, not talking about Bitcoin or the market or any of that bullshit. And it's just quite amazing that we keep finding these things over and over and over again. But without any further ado, let's get right to the rest of the video.
At the same time, you really need the two forms of spendability. Spendability as in, ability to use your savings in kind of unstable countries for good reason, like they're not very trustable. And so it's difficult for them to participate in a global economy. The introduction of Bitcoin in some of those countries is, as well as the growing usage as electronic money, is for it to compete with gold and get somewhere near gold parity. And I think that's getting pretty close. My theory, which is just a theory, we'll see if it plays out, is that, if Bitcoin starts to get closer to gold, and that becomes a story on financial news networks, that you might see let's go and soon slås det sølv, eget sats nok oppfemmelig, sit og selv på fest og være selv gruppen ekstremt henne. He is there plugin almost second log that we mix there see
And that
some of the more institutional, larger investors that might want to join in the Bitcoin market are waiting for the election uncertainty to pass, so that whatever the outcome, that would get that uncertainty behind them, so that then they could make the investment.
And welcome back. So we're going to go over these words real quick, starting off with what Adam Back was talking about spendability and using your savings. And right after that, he says, invest sui. Suey pops up again. He talks about using your savings, and then Suey pops up, okay? Now, it's not XRP, it's not XLM, it's not Bitcoin, it's Suey. Think about who this guy is. It's Adam Back, one of the founding people of Bitcoin. He's saying in the backwards audio, invest Suey. We've heard it from Ryan Fugger, now him. We've heard it from Brad Garlinghouse. I believe, if I remember correctly, Brad Garlinghouse, we got him saying they chose Suey. And so I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I'm going to start writing down all these so I have, okay, this person said this. I'm going to start writing down a little notes like that. But this is, again, it's crazy. We're basically hearing from every single one. I think we heard it from Fink, Brian Armstrong, David. I think we heard it from damn near all of them. Either say Suey, invest in Suey, or they chose Suey. Something along with Suey. And again, I didn't know shit about Suey until I started doing these backwards audio. I didn't care about it. But that's what we keep finding. Found XRP once or twice, but I've never found XLM. I don't think I've ever found Bitcoin that I remember. If I do, I may have found it one time, but I can't remember. Like, that's how rare I haven't found it. I haven't found HBAR. Haven't found Hedera. Haven't found Quant. I haven't found HBAR and Hedera, same thing. I haven't found IOTA, Algorand, Sologenic, Corium. I haven't found any of these other blockchains. I found Solana a few times, but I even found metal as in Metallicus, not metal as in metal, but I found silver and buy silver. I haven't found gold yet. I have not found gold. Doesn't mean it's not in these audios, but Suey is popping up more than any of these. Suey, like, when you hear invest Suey, and it's not just like some backwards audio phenomenon where Suey, it's just one of those backwards words. You actually heard invest Suey. We heard from Brad. They chose Suey. Okay? You might want to look into it. It's up to you. The next one, he talks about unstable countries participating in a global economy and the introduction of Bitcoin into countries like El Salvador. Then pops up exit, invest, and 0 day. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe El Salvador did exit or back out of that partnership with the Bitcoin, whatever it was. I don't fucking follow Bitcoin, but it backed out of some Bitcoin company or whoever, the Bitcoin Foundation, I think it was. Invest could have been, I don't think it was Bitcoin, exit, invest, 0 day. I don't think it was Bitcoin, maybe the global economy, but maybe people, when you hear just the word invest, it could have been, yeah, maybe people are investing. Maybe he meant the institutions are investing into it, but 0 day popped up right after that. Is there some kind of 0 day attack, or did it already happen? Because this was last year. Did it already happen, or is it coming? Now, there have been Mr. Poole, and I think the Riddler said it also, that there's some kind of computer virus that's going to happen and knock out communication for 3 days to 10 days, I believe, or something like that. But we have it here. Could it be El Salvador or one of these third world countries? Could it start there? Very well could be, or could come from there. But 0 day is not just the average term that everybody talks about. A 0 day attack is very fucking serious, and from what they said from the news articles that I read, the next crisis could come from a 0 day attack. Will more than likely come from that. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was Cloudflare. I think it was 2 years ago. Cloudflare, the Cloudflare hack. I believe it was Cloudflare. They had an attack and payments were backed up for, God, I don't know how long. They got stalled. They were backed up. I tried to pull money out, and I believe the ATM, that failed a few times. I tried to use my debit card. That failed a few times. So the payments got slowed down. And that went on for literally 6 months. I remember that shit. So that was pretty big. If they get another hack like that, yeah, especially now and all that shit, all the inflation and all this other shit, yeah. The next one talks about the growing usage of electronic money and how it's used to... talks about the growing usage of electronic money, and it's used to compete with gold and mimic it. Then pops up, he's on me, let's go, milk it, fake money, sale, X. Is there fucking Elon Musk? Suey, it solves. Those are the words that popped up. Now again, he's on me, let's go. That sounds to me like he's like, oh fuck, this guy's starting to ask questions a little deeper. He may know I'm Satoshi, or he may know that I'm trying to sell this bullshit of Bitcoin and people buying Bitcoin, saying he's on me, let's go. Milk it. That's right after, okay? Fake money. That's when he was talking about electronic money. I think it was right over it. Sale X. Is there fucking Elon Musk? Suey. It solves. I'm not, I swear to God, I'm not making, man, every video I do, I'm gonna say that, because I'm not, man. Like, this is fucking golden. I don't know what else to say. This is just fucking wild. I'm just, every time I'm blown away by all this. Yeah, I'm just blown away every time. But continuing on here, interviewer asked a question about the election and the markets and how that'll affect the markets. Adam talks about larger institutions waiting for them to pass to get the uncertainty behind them. In the backwards audio, we found it isn't enough. I make money, invest, stay calm, milk it. Then they know the launch. So, again, all these words, you can take it however you want, but they're popping up, guys. This isn't, like I said, doesn't seem fucking random to me. It's just very interesting where the words popped up also. If you want to go back and listen to the last, like, 15-20 seconds, you can kind of, just like I told you, you can see where the thought comes from when I put the words there. You're like, oh shit. And you can see where the backwards words match up with the forwards. Like I said, not always. It matches up usually around 80-85% of the time. But it's kind of rare, actually. So the final cut right now, we're going to play the rest of this, and I'm not going to give away too much more. You guys are just going to have to watch it. So here we go.
The people doing mining don't need to sell as big a proportion to cover their power costs, so that immediately takes some selling pressure away once the price is higher. The positive thing we've seen is that the Zunius Unit Visop snowwell sharp millismisket deal is the other software that vexing show pickups the last investing percentage movement from the market bottom on previous cycles, and there are new entities who are buying lots of Bitcoin, right? I mean, MicroStrategy doing lots of convertible notes at the market. They are probably any profit margin from the interest in all the treasuries, 110 billion of Nester and Bitcoin market and crypto market investors. Now, we don't know exactly how they're going to react, but presumably some of that will come back and buy back coins. Now, they'll be disappointed, obviously, because FTX bankruptcy, super ill-advisedly sold them in a bear market and pushed the price down, and now they're forced to buy back and push the price up. But, they might prefer to be back in the market than being out of the market, because then you miss out. Well, assuming it's Bitcoin is lying, given the Bitcoin and the he the stuff for Belmedani up. Self shouldn't have but so fell self should make on and the boss he'll self little abuse. He is working up East Physic Bill Civil, the bloodlines now. Go out from a silver sky running at a hill casket anyway.
And welcome back. So, we're going to go over these words real quick. I'll put them up on screen as I usually do, but we're going to go over this real quick. Adam, okay? He talks about percentage movements in the markets on previous cycles, then jumps to saying new entities buying Bitcoin like MicroStrategy doing convertible notes. The reverse says he'll buy it, as in Sailor, MicroStrategy. He's a meme, which he is. Now, I didn't know whether to take that as it being an insult or whether he was saying something positive about him, but regardless. moving on. Milk it yet again, meaning he's milking the interview. And then is an asset, which obviously Bitcoin and convertible notes are an asset. So, Sailor will buy more Bitcoin, and he's a meme. Profit margins from interest and treasuries. That's what he was talking about next. Profit margins from interest and treasuries being $110 billion with a B. Again, this is in 2024, and I believe they released it in 2025. I don't know why they held it back, or they post-dated it a year. It's kind of weird. But in the reverse shows, an asset will invest, Elon therefore. That's pretty easy to figure out for you guys, so we'll skip that one. Now, the last little bit here. Bitcoin, here's what Adam said, okay? Here's what he talked about. Bitcoin and crypto investors, we don't know how they'll react, but they'll come back and buy coins. Now, he says, they'll be disappointed, in the forwards audio, this is what he says. They'll be disappointed because of the FTX bankruptcy. Sold them in the bear market. He said FTX sold them in the bear market, talking about their tokens, I believe, and it crashed, obviously. We all know that. Which forced them to buy back and forced the price back up. That was when the whole FTX debacle went on, okay? Here's what popped up in the backwards audio, as you guys heard. Stay calm 3 times in a row. Stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. Alliance. Who's the alliance with? Because we keep hearing alliance over and over and over and over and over and over again. CIA run together. Now, the CIA run together, which is, again, we have CIA pops up a lot in these audios. That little backwards section was how they are going to react. CIA run together. Where is C, where is I, where is A, and CIA run together? Where is run together? How does that pop up and how they are going to react? How? Now, I understand it's the way he says it that comes up, but again, this is coming from the subconscious. These guys aren't doing it on purpose. They have no idea about backwards audio. I highly doubt they do. But it's just very interesting. How they are going to react was the forwards part. CIA run together was the backwards part. That was in the same section. So CIA was the reverse speech. That was that section right there. Again, I'm very curious what he was talking about when he says CIA run together. Did they have something to do with the FTX bankruptcy? Very well could have. Is the CIA going to come back in and... Or sorry, did they come back in? Did they have something to sell? Were they involved with FTX selling and or buying? Because right there you guys have it. CIA run together. At that point it says how they are going to react. And that was right, let me see. Bitcoin and crypto investors, we don't know how they'll react. So Bitcoin and crypto investors, CIA run together? No. Bitcoin and crypto investors, we don't know how they'll react, but they'll come back and buy coins. So how they'll react, so we can replace that. CIA run together, come back and buy coins. Maybe. He says they'll be disappointed because of FTX bankruptcy. Sold them in a bear market and it crashed. Again, these things don't just pop up. And I wouldn't doubt if they did have something to do with the FTX, because obviously we all know it was a fraud now. And you guys know as well as I do about the NSA white paper, how to make a mint. You don't think they know about this shit? You don't think these people, these agencies work together and share information and projects and all this shit? You don't think? Yeah, they do. Now, there's been speculation of Ripple being a government entity. Probably is. Just so you guys know. And again, we have these popping up over and over and over and over again. And it just so happens that the one guy who, meaning David Schwartz, had a patent for blockchain in 1988, got approved in 1991. Very interesting that he worked at the NSA, isn't it? The same company, the same agency that wrote How to Make a Mint. That's very fucking interesting, isn't it? Again, these agencies are very well embedded into the government, into many companies, just like Palantir, Erebor. They're embedded in a lot of these companies. They have connections with these agencies, and you guys would be very surprised how these companies like Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, how they got their technology. You'd be very surprised. You'd be very surprised about DARPA. You'd be very surprised about all this technology we got. Velcro, microwaves, you name it, television, all this shit. You think all of a sudden people just went, oh, I got an idea. A lot of the times they were given this technology. Whether you believe it or not, a lot of the documents, they're out there already. They've been out there for years. I'm not saying anything new that any other conspiracy YouTuber has already said. I mean, their videos have millions and millions of views. It's been out there. A lot of you guys already know this shit. So I'm not saying anything new. So again, we're taking this knowledge that we've been building up for the past 20, 30, 40 years and learning all this stuff. All these releases of these agencies releasing this information and declassifying it. We're taking all that, because we knew that before they declassified. We're taking all that. Now we're going to confirm it with this shit. So everything that you know about, we're going to try to confirm it with reverse speech. Okay? They know about this too. As I've said before, as I've showed you guys before, they know about David Oast, they know about his work, they know about backwards audio. They use this shit, okay? So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys like it, share it. I'm going to get on to the next one. Might do the Brad Garlinghouse video, but I really haven't decided. I want to do the Simpsons one, but I'm going to have to use some archaic methods because, yeah, I can't exactly access the video, so I'll have to do it another way. But I'm going to look into definitely the Simpsons one. I think that one will be interesting. Season 31, episode 13. That's the Think Coin episode. I'm definitely going to do that one. Yeah, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to see what I find. If I don't find anything, you won't see a video. I'll just move on to the Brad one. And if I do, obviously, you'll see it. So, see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. See you.